Welcome back to CivilNet. We are taking part in a rally that's been organized by the Armenian National Congress, and my guest here today is Mr. Arman Musinyan. He's the press secretary for the ANC. Mr. Musinyan, this is the 6th year in a row that the ANC has organized a protest rally to promote and protect human rights in Armenia. Human rights violations occur all over the world, even in the most developed countries. Why is it important that December 10th, which is International Human Rights Day, designated so by the General Assembly of the UN, why is it important that today your party, your organization, has decided once again to organize this rally on December 10th?
Well, as you rightly mentioned, this is already the 6th year we are conducting a march related to Human Rights Day, which is December 10 is the International Day for Protection of Human Rights. Because Armenian society faces tremendous challenges in this field. In all aspects of our social life, we witness every day brutal violations of human rights. This may relate to elections which are falsified and people are deprived of their rights to form their government by free and fair elections. This relates to protection of private property. This relates to the protection of free speech. Today, electronic media is completely controlled and run by the authoritarian regime.
The electronic media or the print media?
No, I mean TV stations,
right.
internet and print media are relatively free, but still, television has great influence on public life and forming public opinion, and opposition groups, civic activists have very, very limited and controlled airtime on the TVs. This also relates to the freedom of meetings, rallies. In 2008 and 2009, we submitted more than 100 inquiries to hold the rally, and we were denied. But somehow people, by their own, forced their right to conduct peaceful rallies and demonstrations. So there are lots of spheres that human rights are violated just on daily basis. Mm-hmm. And this rally kind of, at the first look, does not have a political context, but it, as you rightly mentioned, human rights itself is a heavily political issue. So we try today to call on the Armenian society together, despite their political differences, despite their social views, just to kind of rebel against these violations of human rights.
And you mentioned earlier that there were several organizations that had come together that are now taking part in this rally today. Who are some of those organizations, and who do they represent?
One of them is People Party of Armenia, which is an ally party to Armenian National Congress. Mm-hmm. Another is
the veterans, I think, as well?
War veterans, which is called Yergrapas or Azatamartics. They declared that they will join. Mm-hmm. Also, several civic groups, people who were protesting against these pension fund reforms, recently they passed a law that
to privatize the
pension fund. People working in jewelry sphere, people who have small kind of stores,
right,
who are also being under constant pressure by the government.
Փողոցում ենք արդեն լուր դուրս գա։ Մի խանգարել, նկարել։
So as we can see, there's some disagreement among the police and the members of the media.
Well, this is something we witness every day during the public events.
Right. Well, because one of the articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is the right to assembly, is the right to freedom of thought and speech.
Of course, this is one of the basic. I mean, if you can't gather and express your protest, there is no sense of democracy anymore.
Right, and I can sense that the police officers are now trying to squeeze us further toward the sidewalk, so we're just going to be hopefully not trampled on. Just a final question, Mr. Musinyan. I know you're very busy with the rally today. Armenia just recently celebrated 22 years of independence, and we all know the very difficult challenges that our newly born republic has had to face in the past 2 decades. As we enter the 3rd decade of independence, something that we dreamed about as a nation and as a people for hundreds of years, what do you think it will take to start changing the paradigm, to start so that we, instead of having 1,000 people or a few hundred people, we have 10,000 people coming down into the streets? Because after all, 1/3 of our republic, the citizens of our republic, live in poverty today. We have high unemployment and we have, unfortunately, loss of hope among the populace. What is it going to take to have more mobilization? Is it the political parties coming together? Is it civil society? Is it the regime itself who might want actually to start listening to the voice of the people?
Well, starting from the last one, I would be very naive to believe that this regime would start to listen to people. This is not going to happen because by its nature this regime is a anti-people regime. So the only way is to get rid of this regime as soon as possible. But coming back to the question about people being more active, I think that starting from 2008, society has become more civic educated, more strong in their civic and political standpoints to demand their rights to be implemented, to be protected. So in this aspect we have seen a development. So society has gone much ahead rather than the ruling government. And we have to understand one thing. All the problems, all the tragedies that Armenia faces now has one name. It's a Serge Sarkisyan and his regime. When I say Serge Sarkisyan and his ruling regime, it means government that is illegitimate, that has been formed through falsified elections, government that does not have any connection with its people, and government that does not represent the exact aspirations of the Armenian people in the foreign relations. So once we get rid of this illegitimate regime, we will get an opportunity. I don't say we'll start living in heaven,
right,
but we'll get the opportunity to start slowly but constantly rebuild our country.
Yeah, rebuilding the institutions.
Opening up free market economy, getting rid of monopolies, reforming our justice system, which is key to democratic country. Once you do not have an independent justice system, you cannot talk about democracy. But to reform our police, to reform our political system, all these problems are joined in one place. This is a government that does not represent its people, that has been formed by capturing the power and falsifying the elections.
Well, it's quite a sad outlook on the situation today from your perspective, Mr. Musinyan. But I want to thank you.
But as to compare with the doctors, you have to put the right diagnosis to cure it.
Right.
Whether it's a very harsh or sad thing. You have to diagnose it right.
Absolutely. You have to confront the realities that we live in. Well, I want to thank you. I want to congratulate you today on Human Rights Day, and I hope that someday soon in our republic, in the Republic of Armenia, we can say that human rights are protected as best as possible. Thank you.
Struggle till the end.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to remind our viewers that my guest was Mr. Arman Musinyan, who is the press secretary for the Armenian National Congress, who has organized this rally today on Human Rights Day, December 10 in Yerevan. Stay with CivilNet.
Power!